Based on this key point, I'd like to point out my finger toward my opponent. Have you ever seen a football match without referee? Anyone can become angry. Well, that is easy. But to be angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right level, for the right time, for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not easy. Aristotle, the Nicomachean Athens. However, that was a twist for my opponent. My opponent has said a lot of things about us, so let me at first refuse the logic against my opponent. So without any further delay, let's call it a cheese. Well, my dear opponent, you have told about common sense. Common sense. Do you have a sense and fart, let alone common sense? At first, grow your sense, then you can sense about common sense. Well, you have said iPhone and Nokia. Well, iPhone and Nokia. You shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Sometimes iPhone cannot work as Nokia because sometimes some extraordinary things are found in some ordinary places. For example, that can be found if Sister Shivli, Ahnaf, and others one. However, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who doesn't know me greatly, I'm Maria Tamim, the final and beloved speaker. Fourth and beloved speaker from Group A. Ladies and gentlemen, a country without a government is like a classroom where everyone talks, no one learns, and no coach rule. And finally, complete failure and confusion. Honorable moderator, as the Theodore Roosevelt once said, a country's democracy has to be progressive, or it will be sooner to be crazed to its gate. Let's dive into why the government, not just the population, is the main factor behind a country's development. Honorable moderator, I'd like to be kicking off with law and order. Law and order are like the traffic signal. Without them, even though the fastest car population will crash into each other instead of reaching their destination. It is only possible by a stable government to enforce this law, maintain peace, and ensure justice. Without it, a country cannot attract business or grow economically. Honorable moderator, a great example will be Singapore. Under the Prime Minister Loo Karin West's leadership, the country transformed anti-corruption law and regulation, transforming the country one of the most wealthiest and safest nation in the world. World Bank report 2023. Organization Transparency International ranks the country based on their corruption and law enforcement. And honorable moderator, Somalia, since the 1971, Somalia's lack of privacy, violence, and economic right lead to have a lot of violence to provide, which can be provided by only a government. BBC News Report 2021. A population without law and order is like a student in an exam hall with no invalidator, copying, cheating, and failing together. Based on this key point, I'd like to point out my finger toward my opponent. Have you ever seen a football match without referee? Right not. So why do you expect development without government? Honorable moderator, our government job is to turn its population into an asset, not a liability. How? Providing social welfare system. Social welfare system introduce a person or a population with education, healthcare, housing. Without it, a country remain unemployed, poor, unhealthy, like our OZ opponent. Honorable moderator, for instance, Sweden ranks the among best country globally. Sweden's government provides social welfare system, free education, and healthcare. It spent 28.7% GDP on social welfare, including gender equality, where our opponent don't have probably gender and so on, and development. OECD report 2022. Organization UNICEF work globally to ensure the open child education. Honorable moderator, even Bangladesh during the Ashram project launched in 1997 has built homes for more than 4 billion people. I repeat, more than 4 billion people. UNDP Bangladesh report 2022. Honorable moderator, a population without social welfare system is like a mobile phone with no Wi-Fi, present but useless. Honorable moderator, based on that, I'd like to again asking question to my opponent. If population if social welfare system isn't important, can unhealthy, poor, and sick people, hungry people build a nation? Right? Not. I hope my honorable opponent will ask, if social welfare system isn't important, so why Sweden topping every global ranking while others are just ranking their problems like you? Lastly, when a disaster strikes, it is the government who manages a crisis. It is only possible by a strong government to enforce law. Honorable Mora, Japan in 2011 earthquake, after the Japan's government implemented Disaster Measures Act to reduce and rebuild the city. Japan's time report 2011. During the cyclone season, even in Bangladesh, happened in 2027. Bangladesh BMD Meteorological Department helped millions of people. Like fatality were reduced. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I'd like to say to my opponent, if crisis management isn't important, so why people call 999 instead of holding community on spirit number during disaster? Ladies and gentlemen, a country without a strong government is like a football match where everyone wants to ball but no one wants to feel, and complete failure and confusion. Honorable moderator, law and order are like the boundaries that keeps the ball in play, and social welfare system is a coach that builds a team. And finally, crisis management is a captain who saves the match when the pressure is high. Honorable moderator, leaving this note, I'd like to end you here, everybody. As one John F. Kennedy said, a country asks not what your country can do for you, asks what you can do for your country. So without pointing out your finger, you cannot deny with us. Lastly, I'd like to say, because it is possible only by a government, even dreams turns into reality. If our honorable opponents still argue that the main factor is government, I'll have to say my honorable opponent is agreeing. They are transgender, but they are awesome. We are still democratic, but they are idiotic. It is their problem. Thank you everyone for giving me this floor. I can thank you enough. Assalamu alaikum. This is all for today. If you have any confusion, the confusion will be clear. Oh dear, no problem. Sister Mitu is here to clear your confusion. Assalamu alaikum and goodbye for now.